Hey, good evening, everyone. We're back again for another podcast, Moreno Clan in hand and a Slonic or two. So we'll get started here by introductions. I'm Papa Paul.
And this is Matt.
And Brent.
Patrick.
And Chris.
We're going to take it away. Chris is going to lead us down the path of the Super Bowl. We never got to talk about that. Go ahead, Chris.
Patriots lost 41-33.
Moving on. Moving on. We don't get to talk about the Patriots
Uncle
loss.
Jim, our guest visitor, was right. Nailed the whole entire thing.
That's why he's not here.
Offensive assault. And James can't go to the college he wants to go to anymore. So, thank you, Eagles.
Yeah, that's what determined it. Was that one game?
By the way, we also have a GoFundMe page for Chris.
Yeah.
James is picking out colleges already? What? Am I missing something?
Have you met his mother?
No.
Yeah, community colleges.
Yeah, exactly.
JV.
Yeah.
Shrewd.
Might I add that I'm in a wheelchair. I'm not sure why this is my seat of choice here.
Well, you just need a couple more drinks and then it'll make sense.
Sir, beer me.
Isn't it the anniversary of your
Speaking of-
visit in Las Vegas?
Oh no, that was your son, not me.
I thought you ended up.
I did, but I didn't get wheeled in.
So back to the Super
I was able to
Bowl.
walk out.
Let's talk about Tom Brady failing in
Yeah,
the Super Bowl.
throwing for
Well,
505 yards.
Yeah, the guy had the
TDs,
game of a lifetime.
and sitting there going, what else do I have to do?
Hold on.
In
to
that
the ball.
voice.
How about catch a ball?
Oh.
Maybe lay out for a pass like your guys do for you.
But no, how about this? How about this conversation?
He did look very lazy on that play. I'm just throwing
He's
that
a
out
slow
there.
guy. He's a quarterback. He's not
He
known for
didn't even
speed.
outstretch his arms. He had alligator
elbow was
arms.
still
He
bent.
alligator armed the whole thing.
But really though,
Coming from you two is outstanding.
for the Eagles aspect, what do you do with that quarterback situation now? You got Nick Foles, who's Super Bowl MVP,
He's
and
under
then you got.
contract.
That's great. So he's gonna be a backup next year.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, that's
Well,
gonna be
the
great.
issue that's
That's
going
not trade bait, you don't think?
No, absolutely not.
The issue that's going on right now is Carson Wentz was told by his doctor that he has to wear that knee brace and that he's not going to be fully recovered until late June, which is OTAs will be going on at that point in time. So it's going to be interesting. They're going to hold on to him, obviously, and their other issue right now is LeGarrette Blount. Apparently, that's the guy they're going to try and resign, which I don't understand how that guy is.
Hey man, the guy
So-
won 2 Super Bowls in a row, and he had a lot to do with it in both Super Bowls.
Chris Long as well. I mean, those two guys they've done something that I think 5 other players have done. Was that
It was
the
back-to-back Super Bowls.
back-to-back
with
Super
different
Bowls
teams.
with 2 different teams? That's incredible.
Deion Sanders is on that list. Ken Norton Jr. is on that list.
Right, they played for cheaters as well, so that was good.
Or
My,
just 2 of the greatest dynasties ever.
My fantasy character in Madden also did it.
Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Was that
killer.
Was that Lenny Longarm
killer.
Johnson?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was-
That's all his first name too.
Was that Madden 64 where you just maxed out the 7'2", 300 pounds for every player on your team?
I thought you were talking about Ken Norton Jr.
Cannot do
Yeah,
it.
a little bit of shake and bake. I was like, who the hell is he talking about?
Cal. It'd be Cal.
Oh, it's Cal.
Oh, Cal.
You're a fuck up. Drink
So
your perfume.
anyhow, the Super Bowl, everybody knows how it went. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. Go ahead. Anybody else got something to say about it?
Greatest trick play in a Super Bowl in recent history, if not all history.
Which was an illegal formation.
It was completely legal.
Coming from a Patriot fan?
Yeah. No.
Five guys in
you
the
don't
backfield.
say.
So that's all right. It is what it is. It was good. Good game.
Okay, what
So
about
bitter.
the
So
DB
bitter.
not playing? What do you guys think about that?
Oh, Malcolm Butler, right?
Well, it was just released recently that they knew all week he wasn't playing. He was sick all week. They weren't depending on him. They had their backup in. And Eric Rowe who replaced him, or who was the guy that replaced? The guy who replaced him said, "I had no clue," and everybody goes, "He knew." Devin
Right.
McCourty, who was the captain of the defense, said, "We all knew he wasn't playing."
Right.
But sick has never kept guys out before.
But he was deathly ill and missed the first 2 practices. And
Right.
with Belichick, that's an
You
issue.
got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to prepare though. You missed 2
One
days
week
out of
is
2
1
weeks.
week is all press. 1 week's all press.
Yeah, I
You're
guess
not on
you're
the field. So that's Belichick's call, and he made it.
Hey, you know what?
That is
Props
what-
to him for sticking to his guns.
That isn't what I heard, though. The obvious thing was, what I heard was he had a chick and hippie lettuce in his room the night before.
There was no chick. He showed up late, and the rumor was that he smelled of marijuana, which was totally false.
So
Mind you,
how
Chris
can a
was
rumor
our-
be false?
Guys on the field 98% of the time, and then all of a sudden he's out of the game.
Wouldn't have made a difference. They ran the ball.
Would've made a
wrong.
big difference.
Huge difference. What are you talking about?
You guys are out of your mind.
You guys would have won that game if you were in.
Yeah, dude, that guy was playing.
First of all, I don't play for them. Second of all,
Listen, man,
You
you're
guys-
talking about he smelled like hippie lettuce, and he sounds like you were there.
Yeah,
you were our
exactly.
correspondent.
I said, no,
You are the New England Patriots correspondent.
You
fucking
are our official
correspondent.
connection to the New England Patriots.
First of all, if Matt Patricia could figure out a way to, get pressure on the statue that is Nick Foles standing back there.
Well,
would've figured
it's
something
kind of
out.
hard to do.
Looks
with
like
11
Napoleon
shows.
Dynamite's like older brother though, doesn't it?
Who?
Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Goofy
Oh,
looking
definitely.
fuck.
He is
Damn.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, he is? Shit.
On
John
steroids.
Heater, that's his stage name?
That guy did his job, man.
Hey, so,
Talk about listening
so
during film.
he cut his beard. He's done, right? Power is gone.
Oh, Samson.
With Matt Patricia?
Yeah.
Upper is gone.
That's
I
why. That's why he
honestly-
didn't.
Right?
But I honestly believe that's such a good move for him because he has a quarterback and he can do what he did with the Patriots and take a couple no-name guys and not bend and not break. Give up all the yards you want and don't break in the red zone.
Yeah, Stafford will get all those yards back.
And now it looks good because, and this all leads to the fact that the North, because we're pivoting towards Patricia real quick, but the North has, the Bears, the Lions,
Packers.
Vikings, Packers. And then
It's gonna
the
be an
Vikings,
interesting
did
division
you read
next
the
year.
whole thing on what the
It's gonna be a
Vikings
terrible
did?
division next year.
The Vikings are cutting all their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They're gone.
They're cutting all of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is waiting to sign his contract to see what Kirk Cousins gets.
Damn.
I do not think Aaron Rodgers will be a Green Bay Packer for a long time. I think he'll be gone in the next 2 years. I wholeheartedly believe that because I think he wants to go to a team that's actually going to surround him with talent.
Yeah,
Changing
but who
your
is
nickname
that?
to Colin Coward.
That's fine. It's the truth because Kirk Cousins is going to end up being a Bronco and he's going to get paid an absurd amount of money. Now, the next guy is Drew Brees. If I'm Drew Brees, I'm getting out of New Orleans and I'm going to Minnesota.
But how long does he have?
Yeah,
Why would
3
he? 3 years.
4 years with the Vikings because their defense is so good. And he has Stephon Diggs and that Thielen kid. They can run the ball and
Yeah,
he
but
doesn't
who
have to
said-
throw
who
as
said-
much.
You're talking about 4 years. They ain't gonna be around in 4 years. They're gonna get paid somewhere else.
The Vikings?
Yeah.
Those guys are all young.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They got
4
three-
years. They'll be gone.
That's what. Well, they got 3 years. I'm just saying this would be my perfect fit. Would be that. And if I were Aaron Rodgers, I would go to Denver. Or I would go to Jacksonville. That's me if I was Aaron Rodgers.
Nah, there's
Yeah.
But
I'll take that.
Shout out to
Jacksonville,
Uncle Jim.
Jacksonville already made their decision with Blake Bortles. The guy's under contract for 3 years.
Speaking of other great decisions,
Well,
Yeah.
they're just sticking
Oh,
with
yeah.
what works. And they're watching other sports and how they're staying pat. A lot of teams are staying pat, what they have, and winning. What the really profound good teams do is they try and get better every time. And you look at Golden State and the fact that they got...
They've never won a Super Bowl.
I'm just talking about other franchises. Forget it.
Hey,
Well,
what about their
ever since
offensive
you get
coordinator
released.
turning down that head coach job?
Josh McDaniels?
Yeah.
That was basically a
a
total,
giant
please don't
middle
leave.
finger.
Belichick's leaving in 3 years when Brady leaves.
Mm.
And we're gonna keep McDaniels, and he's gonna be the new guy.
Really? I think it was more than that. I think it was a giant middle finger to Indianapolis.
Well, Indianapolis was a Deflategate people,
Yeah.
and that was definitely Robert Kraft pulling a move. By the way, that guy's having a kid with a 36-year-old. Check that shit out.
Hey man,
Kraft is?
Yeah,
he's
Kraft.
still
Oh,
shooting.
you got some swimmers?
Yeah, he's still shooting.
God
He and
damn.
Brent go to the same meeting.
Brett
so
was
speaking
minding his own business.
Overactive Jake.
Contracts
Mind my business.
and money and how about that $137 million man up in the Bay?
Oh,
Eh?
jeez.
Eh?
Jesus is here.
The unproven man.
The man's undefeated.
Yeah.
We're
5 games.
I'm prepared to never lose again as a 49ers fan while Jimmy G is our quarterback.
Christ
Jimmy.
almighty. You guys are going to lose again with him as a quarterback. It's okay.
Never again.
He's going to elevate that team
The San
greatly.
Francisco 49ers go 19-0, and
Yeah.
It
Boom.
looks
Boom.
as if
Fuck you,
Garoppolo
Dolphins.
is walking on water. What?
He is walking across the bay.
We were talking about the Super Bowl, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
well,
not the
this
team
is-
that's so far out of it.
But this is everything that stems from
Same
that
spot
Super
as
Bowl.
the Jaguars right now.
Screwed up the
Oh.
position.
And we just won that coin toss in the draft. We got the number 9 pick.
I'll
so-
fuck you up. My outtake on the Super Bowl is definitely the commercials really were lacking this year.
I don't know, man. Those tight ads.
No,
I
that's
love
about
the
it.
tight ends. That was my favorite thing.
The
That was about
the
it.
best commercial was Bill Hader.
Which one was
Nobody asked you, Kevin.
Oh yeah,
Bill
him
Hader.
freaking out at the end, just screaming, pulling up Pete Holmes.
No, it was.
Fuck you,
It was.
Mike.
It wasn't lackluster Commercials.
Yeah, the commercials weren't as good as they've been in the past.
We sound like alcoholics.
You can hear it. Yeah, you hear the whole.
We got mouth breather over here. He just on his phone.
I backed up. I tried to back up.
What about the halftime show? What you guys think about
God
that?
damn. Oh, JT killed
as
it.
fuck.
Yeah,
I liked it.
shocked. I would have gotten.
Well, for the first 4 minutes I saw, I liked it.
Well, he should have gotten somebody out there to perform with him.
Yeah, Janet Jackson's right nipple.
That would have made it interesting.
Just all on its own.
I think.
Talk about deja vu.
Hey, you remember those sharks that danced with Katy Perry? Just need nipples.
Oh, God, yeah, just
go,
nipples.
I was hoping they were gonna get Lance Bass and like try and shoot him off in a rocket.
He made it.
They're
He
gonna
made
do what?
it to space.
Shoot him off, or
Jack him off, I guess.
I'm-
He gay, right?
I'm not.
Isn't that a Russian guy?
Lieutenant Jakov.
He would launch the satellite into space.
Jakimov.
We will call him Lance Sputnik.
But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good for football. I'm excited for
Oh,
next
it was
year.
great for football.
We
It
got
was
what?
Awesome to
We
not
got
see
200 more
Brady win.
days until it starts.
Dude, it was such a good game, though.
It was. It
It
was
was
a great
such a good
game.
game. I was watching the game in some stranger's house while I was turning his gas on. Yeah, sir. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you got a big gas leak. I'm
You
about to
might-
hang out for a while.
Mind if I just watch the end of this real quick?
I'm just gonna check out the end of this drive, and then I'll be on my
Yeah.
way.
Gas man.
Yes, man.
These guys are good. How do they know I got gas?
I know I got gas.
All right, well that rolls the Super Bowl where it belongs in the past. Now we're going to go to the future here. Going to talk about the NCAA tournament. We have the conference tournaments coming up, and each one of us has taken an interest in a particular conference and some of the top 10 teams. Matt's going to roll with this whole thing right now. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, we got the AP top 10 right here. We got this is before all the finals of today's games. You got Virginia at number 1, Michigan State at number 2, Xavier at number 3, Villanova at number 4, Duke at number 5, Kansas at number 6, Gonzaga at number 7, Purdue at 8, North Carolina at 9, and Cincinnati rounding out the top 10. Big performances from the Big East and the ACC.
It's
Take
hailing
longer.
outside.
Take longer.
Longer.
Grabbing that.
Hailing outside.
Please.
Don't forget the foreplay with that fucking ice chest.
So Virginia being the number 1 in the AP, also being the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament, looks like they're odds-on favorite to snag themselves a number 1 seed in the tournament if they can get through their
Yeah,
ACC
the high
tournament.
seeds have been coming into the Final Four.
Yeah, but
What,
gamblers
last-
don't ever bet the
how
fucking
long?
favorite.
I'm
I was
not-
about
I'm
to say
telling you
Virginia
what
has
to bet,
not
I'm
covered
telling
in
you
the
what's
last
gonna
2
happen.
weeks.
Unless it's Floyd Mayweather against McGregor
We're
in a boxing
going to,
race.
I'm going to interrupt here. We're going to get our own bracket pool and do it ourselves and see how well we can do. So we'll get to that real soon here after the tournament.
Oh yeah. So up in the top 10, we got 3 representatives for the ACC with Virginia, Duke, and North Carolina. North Carolina is the 6th seed in the ACC tournament for the first time in multiple years.
They just got beat tonight too by Duke.
Yeah, exactly. So that knocked them all the way down to the 6th seed. Duke's got the number 2 seed. They've been chasing Virginia all year long, though, so we'll see how that goes. Earlier in the year, Duke lost a nail-biter 65-63 to Virginia, and Virginia handled the Tar Heels 61-49. So the ACC tournament looks pretty straightforward. It looks like it's going to be.
You're going to
Duke.
get 4 big hitters in the big tournament.
Yeah. I think the ACC pumps out 4 representatives.
Duke
each.
What big hitters are
Duke won
those?
by
Is that
10
Big
tonight.
Ben? Is that Chris Brown? And who else has beat women?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh yeah, Zeke too. But
Oh,
his woman
can't-
stands
can't-
behind
can't
him.
forget about Ruben Foster.
Oh,
Shout
Ray
out-
Rice. Ray Rice.
Shout out Niners.
Ray Rice too. Just don't go in an elevator with that fucker.
Check the Big East. Who has the Big East?
That's me.
That's Brent.
I have the Big East. I have Xavier at number 3 and Villanueva at
Villanueva? Villanueva?
Is
I
that
don't know
a
why.
Villanueva.
I keep mixing that up every time I say it.
I used to say
Villanova.
Facsimile
Excuse
instead of
Facsimile. Fascist smile.
Make sure we put that fan on Oscillate.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Oscillate. Yeah, thanks.
You're
So I have
not wrong.
Xavier and Villanova, both from the Big East. They look really, really good. I think I like Xavier as the favorite. By accident, researching the Big East, I started looking at Xavier and really looking at him, and they look really good. They have 3 starting seniors. Their power forward, I believe, is just dominating in the paint.
He's powerful.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he's extremely
Power
powerful.
forward is powerful. No shit.
Their
Oh fuck!
but their senior guard, Blewett, that guy is a monster. I mean, he's just been dominating every game. He's been taking over games, and they look really good. I mean, like I said, they're my favorite to win the whole thing.
How many you see coming out of that conference?
Pull 5 out.
Just those two. I think just Xavier and Villanova are coming out of that conference.
Wow, that's okay.
Yeah.
And Patrick, we got the Big Ten. You got Michigan State, and you got Purdue.
Yeah, I was just gonna
In the
cover
top 10.
Michigan State. Yeah, they're what, number 2?
Yeah.
Number 2. Okay, so here's the only thing is Michigan State's fucking killing it this year, but they've lost twice to Michigan. Yeah,
Well,
so I mean, if that matchup happens,
Rivals.
they're rivals, and if that matchup happens, I don't know if it's
But
possible.
they're going to get a seed, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll get a
think-
seed,
I
but
think
if
that's
they-
strictly
But do you think
rivalry.
you think they could win? Yeah, you think they can win their Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
As long as
they're
they don't run
they're
into
favorite. Yeah,
Michigan?
as long as they don't run into Michigan.
All right, that's not bad. Chris, what does Gonzaga look like over there on the West Coast?
Gonzaga was good. They're 27-4 overall. They're 71 in their conference. They lost once in the conference to St. Mary's, who has given them a fit of problems every time they face them. Even the last game they lost, St. Mary's lost, but it was still a good game. Gonzaga, from a gambler standpoint, which I am, they don't cover very often, but they win games, which obviously matters the most. And Gonzaga wins. They play
not a
really
big
well.
gambler.
Yes.
Bet the money line.
The West Coast Conference is the private schools that have parents that can afford it, but they're 4 inches too short. So their issue is they made it to the Final Four last year, so I think they have a potential of doing that again. St. Mary's is just now off of their punishment. They've been punished for the last couple of years to not be in the tournament, which I think St. Mary's will make the Sweet 16. I think that's my crazy pick of the bracket. St. Mary's plays really good defense. Their issue is depth, which is why I don't think they'll go deeper than Sweet 16. But I think St. Mary's is going to shock some people and win some people some money. And then the number 3 team in that division is BYU, which I'm pretty sure right now they're going to be playing in the semis against Gonzaga to see who wins their division, because Gonzaga is beating LMU right now 74-61. And St. Mary's plays Pepperdine tonight, and Pepperdine, I played with a few of the guys with Pepperdine. So.
Yeah, well, that's saying something. Before we get to you, Dad, the number 10 team in the top 10 is Cincinnati. We don't have anybody covering them right now.
What conference is that?
The American Athletic Conference.
Ah,
So they're kind of like big fish, small pond right now.
right.
But they just lost their number 1 scorer in the last game. What was it, yesterday? The guy who's led the team in points all year long went down with an ankle injury right before they're about to jump
And
into
he's
their...
done for the season?
No, he's not done. They said at first it didn't seem like a big injury.
Cortisone!
Yeah, but now they're talking about how it's actually going to affect them, and they're talking about whether or not they're going to pull him out for the tournament and save him. Pull him out for the
Right.
conference
The
tournament, save him
seeding
for
doesn't matter. They just want to get
Right.
in and be ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're a shoo-in. They're a shoo-in. It's just a matter of what spot they get in.
Watching Cincy play, too, they play with high energy. They score a lot of points.
But that passes Cincy up right there, and then Dad, you got the Big 12, and that's the big dog over there is Kansas, right?
Yeah, actually, Texas Tech was ranked high. They're ranked 6, and Kansas is ranked 8. Texas, but I like Kansas. Kansas, they got beat earlier in the year by, I think it was Baylor, but their big Russian forward, 6'7", big guy. He in the shoot around, he got hit in the eye, a black eye, or something like that. So,
It's the truth. It's the truth. You got a black eye.
but the funny thing about the Big 12 is, there's only 10 teams.
Yeah. We should call it the small 12.
Yeah, so
because
wait,
they can't even.
It's the dog year 12.
Oh, okay. I
conference.
was confused.
But I like
What's going on?
Kansas. Kansas is a long shot too. I think you can get them right now.
I mean, on the AP, Texas Tech is 12. They're just right outside the top 10. You think Texas Tech is better?
No, not at all.
No.
Kansas is scoring points, and
I
they
was gonna
got
say,
healthy.
aren't they the NBA Farm League?
Kansas?
Kansas?
Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah.
Okay, them in Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Tell them about the kid they just got who's
Well,
bridging.
there's a kid bridging is the term Chris is using. I didn't know that. That's how old I am. But anyway, he came out of high school bridging to their team, and he just now.
Hold on.
I gotta get
Wait,
going.
We gotta go.
Got a helicopter circling
They've come
outside.
for us.
Anyhow, I
My girlfriend
think that
hasn't come
Kansas
for
will
me.
go far, and the Big 12 could send 4 to the tournament. It's possible they could send 4.
No, Kansas is very good, man. Those guys can score points.
Well, and they're a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, they've got 7 guys who can score. Like I said, this high school kid, he's 17. He's just now making a difference for him. But I think Kansas will go far. And I don't think they'll get a #1 seed, obviously. I think they'll be a 3, something like that.
Won the division last week.
Yeah, they won their conference.
They won their conference. So they're Kansas and Duke to me are very scary teams.
Well, you can never count out Coach K.
Well, yeah, and they have that. Who's the kid on their team that's caused all this drama and all? Oh God.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, what did he do?
He caused problems his first year, second year, and his third year. Now this year they're like, oh, he's figured it out.
Well,
what about that kid, right?
Yeah, dumb kids.
Yeah.
They figure it out eventually, right?
It's just incredible what's going on.
So that's our rundown on the AP top 10. Obviously, by the time we get back around to it, we should, let's see, what, we got Selection Sundays next Sunday.
The 11th,
yeah.
right?
So, so we will be able to get back and really get at it after that.
Well, we're gonna select. We're gonna pay $30. It goes to a charity. If we win,
What?
goes
We're
to
donating
Chris.
to charity? What the fuck?
Chris is
Wait.
It's
When did
called-
this become charity?
Stop. It's called funding nuts.
Funding nuts.
Or
We're
nuts
big.
money.
We're big fans of pistachios here.
So we will be checking back in with this periodically, and we also, in the near future, we got the NBA playoffs coming up.
My nuts!
We might have to talk a little bit about the NHL playoffs.
and baseball around the corner. Spring training's going right now.
How about Matt Kemp back in Dodger blue?
Matt Kemp.
God damn it.
See him get traded
I
to
think
Washington.
this is a good place.
Yeah,
to,
I'm fine with that. If we acquire
give me
Bryce
Bryce.
Harper,
Matt, I
I'm
think
good
it's
with
a good
it.
place to, and then we can move on to another one. Matt, that was
Funding nuts.
awesome on the top 10.
Wait.
Thank you for the research.
Are we shutting down here?
Ask it. What'd you just say?
Well, I was just saying. I mean,
Take a
we
break?
got-
You
we
want to
got-
cut it there and then
Yeah,
start a
right
new
there.
one?
No,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Cool. Take us
hold on,
out.
Hold on, I gotta plug our sponsor. Alright guys, don't forget about our sponsor, Funding Nuts. For those of you that are nuts for funding, fundingnuts.com.
It's real funny. It's when you don't have one nut.
I'm cutting that out. Take us out. Take us out, Uncle Paul.
Obviously. I didn't expect you to
Patrick
keep
got an assist.
Oh,
leave that one in.
Aw.
It's just a system we have, man.
A system we have.
Uncle Paul, take us out.
Okay, we're gonna close it down right now, and then open it up later on. Thank you. This is Uncle Paul saying, "Shoot my hinty." That's I don't know. I don't know.
That's Swedish. That's Swedish for "Where's my nut?"
No.
Goodbye to my nut. Go
This is
ahead.
Matt, and I can't wait to relapse.
This is Brent. I'm out.
This is Patrick. I don't know shit about basketball.